Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try, life just doesn't give you the respect, influence, or opportunities you deserve? What if the problem isn't the world, it's how you show up in it? Becoming a high-value man isn't about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about how you think, how you act, and how you take control of your life every single day. The men who get noticed, who get respect, who get results, they do things differently. They own their mornings, handle pressure without panic, make decisions fast, and follow through like their life depends on it, because it does. In this video, you'll learn real, actionable steps to level up your mindset, habits, and confidence. You'll see how to protect your time, grow through challenges, and become the kind of man who naturally commands respect without needing approval. By the end, you'll understand what a high-value man truly is and how to start becoming one today. Your life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Chapter 1. Own your mornings to start every day with power. Owning your mornings is the single most powerful step toward becoming a high-value man. How you start your day sets the tone for every decision, every interaction, and every opportunity that comes your way. A high-value man understands that mornings are not just hours on a clock. They are the foundation for strength, clarity, and purpose. If you allow your mornings to slip by in chaos or distraction, you give away your power before the day has even begun. But when you take control of these early hours, you claim the ability to shape your life in every way that matters. This is not about waking up early for the sake of it. This is about designing your morning so that it fuels your mind, your body, and your spirit in ways that set you apart from ordinary men. The first thing to understand is that mornings are your opportunity to create momentum. The world will not wait for you to feel ready, and life will not slow down because you hesitated. High-value men know that momentum is created by action, not intention. Waking up with a plan, with clarity about what matters most to you, allows you to take the first steps in your day with purpose. Even small actions done consistently in the morning compound into extraordinary results over time. This is the first distinction between men who drift through life and men who command it. When you own your mornings, you own your momentum. Next, attention to the body in the morning is essential. The way you treat your body in these early hours directly impacts your energy, confidence, and presence throughout the day. A high-value man does not wait until he feels motivated to move. He begins with discipline. He hydrates his body because he understands that water fuels clarity. He stretches or exercises because movement sharpens focus and builds resilience. The human body thrives on routine, and a morning routine that prioritizes physical care creates a ripple effect that touches every aspect of life. When your body feels strong and alert, your mind naturally becomes sharper. Energy, focus, and presence are the invisible signals that other people notice and respond to. A high-value man doesn't just talk about strength. He demonstrates it with his presence, his posture, and the way he moves through the world. It begins with mornings. Then comes the mental preparation. A high-value man spends time each morning sharpening his mind. This is not about consuming random information or scrolling endlessly on a phone. It is about intentional thought, reflection, and learning. Reading a passage from a book that challenges your thinking, reviewing your goals, or planning your day with clarity primes your mind for achievement. Thoughts are powerful, and the quality of your thoughts in the morning sets the tone for the decisions you will make throughout the day. If you begin your day distracted, reactive, or scattered, you will find yourself reacting to circumstances instead of directing them. When you own your mornings, you own your attention, your focus, and the direction of your life. Emotional control also starts in the morning. The world will throw challenges, stress, and distractions at you, but how you feel at the start of the day shapes how you respond to everything that follows. High-value men understand that emotions are contagious, but they are also manageable. By taking a few quiet moments to center yourself, breathe deeply, and reflect on what matters most, you cultivate a sense of calm and clarity. This emotional grounding makes you resilient. You face the day from a position of strength, not reaction. This ability to manage your inner world is one of the defining traits of a high-value man, and it begins with intentional mornings. Another essential part of owning your morning is setting priorities. High-value men do not allow urgent but trivial matters to dictate their energy. They identify what is truly important and take action on it first. This might mean writing a to-do list, reviewing your top 3 goals, or visualizing your day with intention. The difference between success and mediocrity is often determined in these early moments. A man who acts on what matters first gains leverage in every area of life. He is proactive, not reactive. He shapes his day before the world tries to shape him. This is the psychological edge that comes from controlling your morning. Consistency is the secret that separates high-value men from everyone else. Owning your morning once is not enough. What matters is showing up for yourself every day. Habits are built on repetition, and the actions you take each morning compound over weeks, months, and years into your character, your reputation, and your results. The man who takes care of his mind, body, and priorities every morning builds a life that others admire. He is dependable, disciplined, and respected because he consistently invests in himself. Your mornings are the building blocks of this consistency. They are where discipline becomes habit and habit becomes excellence. The environment you create in the morning also shapes your success. High-value men are mindful of the spaces they occupy. They remove distractions, clutter, and unnecessary noise that interfere with focus and energy. Your home, your workspace, and even the sounds you allow in your morning routine contribute to your state of mind. Creating an environment that supports clarity, energy, and focus is a small but powerful action that pays huge dividends. This is part of owning your mornings, being intentional not just about what you do, but where and how you do it. Accountability is another element of high-value morning. Successful men measure themselves against standards, not excuses. They reflect on their actions, review their progress, and commit to improving daily. Taking 5 or 10 minutes each morning to ask yourself hard questions about your growth, your goals, and your character reinforces responsibility and ownership. High-value men do not wait for someone else to push them or remind them. They lead themselves. Your morning routine is the first opportunity each day to lead yourself effectively. The morning is also where gratitude and perspective are built. High-value men recognize that life is a gift and opportunity. Taking a moment to reflect on what you have, what you've accomplished, and what you want to achieve cultivates a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude grounds you, sharpens your focus, and enhances your relationships throughout the day. When you start your morning with appreciation for your life and your possibilities, you carry a sense of purpose into everything you do. This emotional tone makes your presence magnetic and your decisions intentional. Time management in the morning is critical. High-value men do not waste precious hours on distractions or low-value tasks. They understand the value of time as their most important asset. Planning your day, setting priorities, and protecting your morning from interruptions allows you to operate from strength rather than stress. This is not about rigid schedules or unnecessary structure. It is about choosing actions that matter and executing them with focus and discipline. Your mornings are a gift, and how you use them defines how much control you have over your life. Self-talk is a powerful tool that is often overlooked. High-value men consciously guide their thoughts in the morning. They replace doubt with confidence, fear with determination, and distraction with focus. Speaking to yourself with clarity and encouragement strengthens resolve and reinforces identity. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly, and the first words you hear each day are the most influential. Owning your mornings includes owning your thoughts and affirming the person you are committed to becoming. High-value men also use the morning to visualize success. They see themselves completing tasks, achieving goals, and interacting with people with confidence and competence. Visualization is not a substitute for action, but it prepares the mind to act decisively. The brain cannot always tell the difference between imagined success and actual action, so by mentally rehearsing your day and your goals, you prime yourself to perform at your highest level. This mental preparation is a subtle but powerful advantage that begins each morning. Finally, the essence of owning your morning is choice. Every day presents a decision to drift through life passively or to take control and act intentionally. High-value men choose control, action, and self-mastery. They understand that greatness is not a result of luck, but of consistent choices made over time. Each morning offers a new opportunity to make choices that reflect your values, your priorities, and your commitment to excellence. Choosing to own your mornings is choosing to own your life. It is choosing to grow, to lead, and to become the man you are capable of being. When you consistently take ownership of your mornings, the impact reaches every corner of your life. Your work improves because you start focused and energized. Your relationships improve because you show up with presence and clarity. Your health improves because you honor your body from the start. Your mindset strengthens because you practice discipline, gratitude, and intention before the world tries to impose chaos. Mornings are not just a part of the day. They are the cornerstone of character, the foundation of confidence, and the launch pad for a high-value life. Becoming a high-value man is not about grand gestures or overnight transformation. It is about the small, intentional actions taken consistently every morning. It is about the way you treat yourself, the decisions you make before distractions arrive, and the mindset you cultivate in those early hours. A man who owns his mornings demonstrates leadership, self-respect, and purpose. He becomes someone who is noticed, not because he seeks attention, but because he embodies value in every action, thought, and interaction. This is the power of mornings. This is the power of taking control. This is the foundation of becoming a high-value man. The man who commits to his mornings commits to himself. He commits to his growth, his clarity, and his ability to shape his life. No one else can do it for him. No one else can wake up with the same intention, discipline, and focus. Every day is a new chance to prove to yourself what you are capable of. It begins with your mornings. It begins with the decision to act. It begins with ownership. When you step into your mornings with clarity, discipline, and intention, you send a message to the world and to yourself. You tell yourself that you matter. You tell yourself that your time matters. You tell yourself that your life is yours to shape. That simple choice, repeated day after day, transforms ordinary men into high-value men. And it does not happen because the world gives permission. It happens because you decide to take it. High-value men rise early, not for vanity, but for mastery. They rise to claim their mind, their body, their time, and their energy. They rise to prepare for a life that demands their best and rewards their effort. They rise to act while others are still distracted or asleep. They rise to create the conditions for success, happiness, and fulfillment. Each morning becomes a statement of intent, a demonstration of character, and a commitment to personal excellence. When you embrace this, everything else follows. Every man has the choice. Every man can decide to own his mornings. Every man can decide to take the first hours of his day and transform them into the foundation of a high-value life. No matter where you are, no matter your past, no matter the challenges you face, the power to change is in your hands. It begins today. It begins now. And it begins with the simple act of taking control of your morning. The man who does this every day builds a life that others admire, respects, and follows naturally. This is not luck. This is not chance. This is deliberate action. This is the difference between ordinary and high. This is the difference that separates men who drift through life from men who command it. Chapter 2. Challenge yourself to grow, even when it feels uncomfortable. Growth never comes from staying in your comfort zone. The moment you choose comfort over challenge is the moment you stop moving forward. Every high-value man understands that the path to improvement is rarely easy. It often requires stepping into situations that feel unfamiliar, awkward, or even frightening. The mind resists change because it fears the unknown, but the body, the spirit, and the future you want are built in those moments where you push beyond what feels safe. Challenge is not an obstacle, it is a signal that you are about to expand into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. It begins with the willingness to do things you have avoided. Every person has tasks, conversations, or opportunities that make their heart beat faster with nervousness. Avoiding these moments keeps life predictable, but it also keeps it small. A high-value man looks at discomfort and sees it as a doorway. He approaches difficult conversations, new responsibilities, or demanding projects with a mindset of learning rather than fear. Every challenge is a test of your discipline, resilience, and commitment to becoming better. The choice to confront what feels uncomfortable directly shapes the man you will become. Growth often feels painful because it disrupts your habitual patterns. Your brain wants the path of least resistance. It wants the same routine, the same results, and the same reassurance every day. High-value men know that ease does not produce excellence. To gain strength, skill, and wisdom, you must move into the spaces where your comfort ends. This might mean taking on a new responsibility at work, having an honest conversation that could change a relationship, or exposing yourself to environments that test your confidence. Every time you resist the urge to retreat, you create a small victory that accumulates over time. These victories build character in ways that books, advice, or observation never can. Fear is the natural companion of challenge. It shows up as hesitation, doubt, or even physical tension. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are stretching. High-value men learn to welcome fear as an indicator that they are approaching an opportunity for growth. Fear is a compass pointing toward where you need to go. The choice is always yours: shrink back or move forward. Each time you act despite fear, you condition yourself to take control of your reactions rather than being controlled by them. Growth begins when fear meets action. Consistency in facing discomfort is what separates ordinary men from high-value men. A single act of courage is meaningful, but repetition is transformative. Every day presents opportunities to challenge yourself, and high-value men seize them even when the reward is not immediate or guaranteed. The body learns endurance, the mind learns adaptability, and the spirit gains confidence. Habits of courage and persistence are built not in moments of comfort, but in repeated exposure to challenge. These habits eventually define the level of your personal value, influence, and success in every area of life. Challenges also teach patience. Immediate results are rare, and the discomfort of growth cannot be rushed. High-value men understand that progress is often invisible at first. Muscles do not appear after one workout, skills do not develop after one attempt, and confidence does not arise after a single success. It emerges over time through repeated effort, reflection, and wisdom to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. This patience allows you to endure difficult situations without giving up. The man who persists through discomfort becomes unshakable, capable, and dependable. A high-value man also understands the importance of perspective. Every challenge you face is not just a test, it is a teacher. Situations that feel uncomfortable often reveal weaknesses, gaps in knowledge, or areas that require growth. Instead of avoiding these signals, embrace them. Analyze what the situation is showing you and identify what you can learn. Discomfort is a mirror that reflects the areas where you need to improve. Growth occurs when you confront the reflection honestly and act intentionally to strengthen those areas. Avoiding this insight keeps you stagnant. Facing it head-on propels you forward. Growth through discomfort also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable, and it often places men in situations they did not choose. High-value men prepare for this reality by voluntarily exposing themselves to challenge. By doing so, they learn to recover quickly from setbacks, maintain composure under pressure, and act decisively in uncertainty. Resilience is not something that can be taught in theory. It is forged in practice through deliberate acts of courage, effort, and persistence. Each challenge you willingly face equips you with skills and confidence to handle even greater difficulties in the future. Challenging yourself also sharpens decision-making. When you consistently face situations that push your limits, you learn to evaluate risks, consider options carefully, and act with clarity. Ordinary men postpone decisions to avoid discomfort, often creating bigger problems down the road. High-value men act decisively, even when uncertainty exists. They understand that indecision is a form of weakness that prolongs stress and stagnation. Each time you choose to act in the face of discomfort, you strengthen your ability to make sound decisions quickly and effectively. This skill compounds into every aspect of life, from career to relationships to personal growth. Physical and mental challenges are intertwined. A high-value man does not separate his mind from his body. Facing discomfort in one area strengthens, but pushing through a demanding workout, learning a skill that seems difficult, or tackling a task that requires focus and effort improves mental toughness as much as physical capability. The body and mind learn to endure, adapt, and recover. This integrated growth is what gives high-value men their energy, confidence, and presence. The more you challenge yourself in deliberate ways, the more prepared you become to handle life's inevitable pressures with grace and effectiveness. Challenge also builds self-awareness. When you place yourself in uncomfortable situations, you quickly discover who you are under pressure. Your strengths become evident, but so do your weaknesses. A high-value man does not shy away from this knowledge. Instead, he uses it to refine himself, address gaps, and develop competencies that strengthen his life. Growth is not accidental, it is intentional. It requires acknowledging where you fall short and taking deliberate steps to improve. Avoidance only prolongs ignorance and limits the potential of who you can become. Facing discomfort illuminates the truth about yourself and provides the roadmap for improvement. Accountability is magnified in moments of challenge. High-value men take responsibility for their actions, even when it is difficult. They do not blame circumstances, people, or luck when things do not go smoothly. Growth through discomfort is most effective when you own both your successes and failure. By holding yourself accountable, you create the habit of learning from mistakes rather than avoiding them. This habit is a hallmark of maturity and value. The man who consistently accepts responsibility gains trust, respect, and influence naturally. Each challenge faced with accountability adds a layer of credibility to your character. Discomfort is also where creativity emerges. When situations feel uncomfortable, you are forced to think differently, adapt, and innovate. High-value men recognize that these moments stimulate new solutions and perspectives. If every day is easy, predictable, and familiar, the mind becomes stagnant. Growth requires novelty, risk, and experimentation. By seeking out challenges, you activate creativity, problem-solving, and adaptability. These qualities are essential for success in every area of life because they allow you to respond effectively to change, uncertainty, and opportunity. Facing discomfort builds confidence unlike any other method. Every challenge you overcome becomes proof of what you are capable of. High-value men carry this confidence not as arrogance, but as quiet assurance in their ability to handle life. This confidence radiates in decisions, interactions, and leadership. It is the kind of confidence that comes from knowing you have faced fear, uncertainty, and difficulty, and emerged stronger. Every uncomfortable situation conquered is a deposit in the account of self-belief. Over time, this cumulative confidence transforms how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself. Growth also requires reflection after each challenge. High-value men do not simply act, they observe, analyze, and extract lessons. What worked well? What could be improved? What did this experience reveal about my strengths and weaknesses? Reflection turns action into wisdom. Without reflection, discomfort can feel wasted, chaotic, or meaningless. By processing experiences consciously, you transform every challenge into an opportunity to grow not only in skill, but in insight, understanding, and self-mastery. A high-value man also inspires others by facing discomfort. People notice courage, determination, and the ability to persist when it is difficult. By modeling this behavior, you create a standard for others and elevate the environment around you. Growth is contagious. When you challenge yourself publicly or visibly, it encourages others to pursue their own development. Your willingness to endure discomfort becomes a silent teaching that demonstrates strength, discipline, and resilience in action. Influence grows naturally when it is grounded in consistent, courageous behavior. Comfort feels good temporarily, but it comes with a hidden cost. Stagnation, regret, and missed opportunities are often the price of avoiding discomfort. High-value men understand that short-term unease is far more valuable than long-term limitation. By intentionally stepping into situations that feel uncomfortable, you prepare yourself for life's bigger challenges and greater reward. Every instance of courage compounds over time, creating a trajectory of growth, achievement, and personal satisfaction. The cost of avoidance is far higher than the temporary discomfort of action. High-value men also embrace failure as part of the growth process. Discomfort and failure are intertwined. Not every challenge will result in immediate success. That is not the point. The point is to learn, adapt, and try again. Each failure experienced in the pursuit of growth teaches lessons that success alone can. By embracing the possibility of failure, you free yourself from the fear that holds most men back. Growth is not about perfection. It is about consistent effort, adaptation, and the courage to continue despite setbacks. Ultimately, challenging yourself, even when it is uncomfortable, is about building a life that matters. High-value men do not settle for mediocrity or easy paths. They pursue mastery, strength, and influence with deliberate action. Each challenge faced is a step toward becoming the kind of man who commands respect, achieves goals, and lives intentionally. The discomfort you feel today is a signal that you are growing stronger, more capable, and closer to the man you aspire to be. Avoidance delays that growth. Action accelerates it, and commitment ensures it lasts. The man who consistently challenges himself becomes unstoppable. He faces difficulty without hesitation. He embraces fear without denial. He learns without arrogance. He reflects without excuse. He grows without complaint. Each day presents new opportunities to stretch, test, and develop. The cumulative effect of these actions transforms character, competence, and influence. Every uncomfortable situation willingly faced becomes another tool in the arsenal of a high-value man. Nothing builds value faster than confronting what most men avoid. Growth is a lifelong journey. Comfort is temporary, but the lessons learned through challenge last forever. High-value men understand this distinction and make it their priority to seek opportunities that expand their skill, strength, and wisdom. Life will always be uncomfortable at times, but those who embrace it willingly shape the quality of their experiences, relationships, and achievement. By choosing discomfort deliberately, you accelerate growth, build resilience, and create a life filled with confidence, capability, and meaning. Chapter 3. Observe people carefully, to understand them before reacting always. Understanding people is one of the most powerful skills a man can develop. Life places us in interactions every single day, and the quality of those interactions depends on our ability to observe, interpret, and respond thoughtfully. A high-value man does not react impulsively. He does not allow emotions, assumptions, or surface-level impressions to dictate his behavior. Instead, he pays attention. He notices the words, the tone, the gestures, and the energy behind them. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to gather information, to understand context, and to make a decision that aligns with his values and goals. Observation is not passive. It is active, intentional, and deliberate. Many men make the mistake of responding before they truly understand. They hear part of a statement and jump to conclusions. They react to a situation without considering the emotions, history, or motives of the other person. This leads to misunderstandings, conflict, and unnecessary stress. A high-value man recognizes that every person has a story, a reason for acting the way they do, and a perspective shaped by experiences that may be invisible at first glance. By observing carefully, he can interpret these cues accurately and respond in a way that maintains integrity, influence, and respect. Observation begins with attention. You cannot understand someone if your mind is elsewhere. When you engage with people, you must focus fully. This means putting aside distractions, silencing the inner dialogue, and genuinely noticing what is happening around you. Listen not only to words, but also to tone, pace, and body language. Notice small gestures, facial expressions, and even pauses in conversation. These subtle cues often communicate far more than what is spoken. The ability to absorb these details allows you to see patterns and uncover truths that many overlook. Empathy plays a crucial role in understanding people. A high-value man does not simply watch others as an outsider. He steps into their perspective without losing his own sense of self. He seeks to understand why they feel, think, or act in certain ways. This does not mean excusing bad behavior, but it means recognizing the human complexity behind every action. Understanding motives and emotions helps you respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. Empathy strengthens relationships, builds trust, and positions you as a man who sees people clearly, values their perspective, and responds with insight rather than assumption. Observation also requires patience. Most men rush to conclusions because impatience convinces them that the first impression is enough. A high-value man knows that truth often reveals itself slowly. People may mask their intentions, hide vulnerabilities, or react differently under stress. By taking the time to observe consistently, you gather enough information to make a wise judgment. Hasty reactions often lead to mistakes, regret, or lost opportunities. Patience allows you to see the full picture and respond from a position of awareness rather than impulse. Another important aspect is controlling your own reactions while observing. Emotions like anger, frustration, or excitement can cloud judgment. A high-value man practices self-control. He watches without immediately responding, allowing him to process what he sees and hears objectively. This creates space to consider options, anticipate consequences, and choose a response that serves both the situation and his long-term goals. Reacting too quickly is a habit that costs respect, damages relationships, and reduces influence. Observation before action is the hallmark of emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. Context is everything. Every action, statement, or expression occurs within a specific set of circumstances. High-value men understand that behavior is influenced by past experiences, stress, environment, and expectations. Observing without understanding context is incomplete. By paying attention to external factors, you gain clarity on why someone behaves the way they do. This prevents misjudgment and allows you to respond with insight. It also positions you to offer support, guidance, or boundaries that are appropriate and effective. Context gives observation meaning, and meaning creates power. Observation is not limited to words and gesture. It extends to habits, routines, and patterns over time. People reveal who they are through consistency. A single action may be random, but repeated behavior shows character. High-value men notice these patterns. They recognize when someone's behavior aligns with their words, and when it does not. This insight is invaluable for evaluating relationships, partnerships, and opportunities. It allows you to invest your time and energy wisely, focusing on interactions and relationships that will be productive and mutually beneficial. Body language is another critical element. A high-value man reads the signals that people often cannot hide. Posture, eye contact, facial tension, and hand movements communicate intentions and emotions. A nervous gesture may indicate uncertainty, a firm stance may show confidence, and subtle changes in expression can reveal hidden thoughts. By observing these details, you gain a deeper understanding of the people around you. The man who notices these subtleties can navigate conversations with precision, build rapport, and influence outcomes without manipulation. High-value men also recognize the importance of tone and energy. Words alone are not enough to understand meaning. The way something is said carries emotion, urgency, and sometimes hidden messages. A casual tone may mask irritation, a raised voice may signal stress, and calm speech may convey control. Observing tone and energy helps you respond appropriately and avoid unnecessary conflict. It allows you to approach situations strategically, ensuring that your responses match the emotional state and needs of those involved. Observation requires asking questions in subtle and strategic ways. Direct confrontation or assumptions often lead to defensiveness. High-value men ask thoughtful questions that reveal insight while respecting boundaries. Open-ended questions, careful listening, and reflective responses help you understand motives and intentions without provoking resistance. This approach builds trust and encourages people to reveal more than they might with casual interaction. By observing the answers and reactions carefully, you gain valuable information that shapes your decisions and strengthens your influence. A high-value man also pays attention to what is not said. Silence, avoidance, hesitation, or incomplete statements often carry more weight than spoken words. Observing gaps in communication, contradictions, or inconsistencies helps you see what might be hidden or misunderstood. Most people overlook these clues, but the man who notices them gains clarity and advantage. Understanding the unspoken allows you to navigate situations with precision, avoid missteps, and respond in ways that are thoughtful and impactful. Observation develops emotional intelligence. By noticing emotional cues and patterns, you learn how to manage your own responses while influencing others effectively. High-value men respond with empathy and clarity rather than react with frustration or judgment. They understand that controlling their response often has a greater impact than controlling the situation. Emotional intelligence allows you to navigate high-pressure situations, resolve conflicts, and inspire trust in ways that words alone cannot achieve. Observation is the training ground for this skill. Trust your intuition alongside careful observation. High-value men combine what they see, hear, and feel with gut instincts developed from experience. Intuition is sharpened by observation, reflection, and pattern recognition. When combined with deliberate attention, it allows for quick, accurate, and wise responses. Acting without observation may lead to error. Acting without intuition may lead to hesitation. When both are aligned, decision-making becomes precise, confident, and effective. Observing people also teaches humility. No matter how experienced or knowledgeable you are, there is always more to learn about others. Every person has depth, complexity, and perspective that may be invisible at first glance. High-value men approach observation with curiosity and respect, rather than arrogance or assumptions. They know that underestimating someone or assuming understanding can lead to mistakes. Observing carefully reminds you that every interaction is an opportunity to learn and grow, both about others and about yourself. Observation also strengthens negotiation and influence. By understanding people deeply, you anticipate needs, predict reactions, and communicate in ways that resonate. High-value men do not manipulate. They align solutions with understanding. They provide value, clarity, and guidance that naturally earns respect and cooperation. The ability to observe and interpret others accurately increases effectiveness in business, relationships, and leadership. Influence grows not from force, but from understanding. Observation is the key. Practicing observation daily builds mindfulness. Life moves quickly, and most people act without noticing details. High-value men slow down mentally to notice subtleties, patterns, and shifts in behavior. This practice enhances awareness, strengthens presence, and allows for intentional responses. Mindfulness, through observation, improves focus, reduces conflict, and creates opportunities for meaningful connection. The man who observes is fully present in his environment and interactions, which itself is a powerful sign of value. Finally, high-value men observe themselves in relation to others. Self-awareness is essential for understanding how your words, actions, and energy impact those around you. Observation is not just about noticing others, it is about recognizing how you affect dynamics, conversations, and outcomes. By combining external observation with internal reflection, you develop a holistic understanding of interaction. This awareness allows you to adjust, respond thoughtfully, and cultivate relationships that are productive, respectful, and mutually beneficial. The ability to observe carefully before reacting is a lifelong skill. It is cultivated through practice, patience, and deliberate attention. Every conversation, every meeting, and every interaction is an opportunity to refine this skill. High-value men understand that the way they observe and respond directly affects their influence, relationships, and long-term success. This is a skill that cannot be rushed or faked. It requires discipline, humility, and consistency. Mastering it positions you to navigate life with confidence, clarity, and control. Observation creates freedom. By understanding people accurately, you are not controlled by assumptions, emotions, or misinformation. You respond instead of react. You make decisions from clarity rather than impulse. You build trust and respect naturally. You recognize opportunities that others overlook. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You influence effectively. This freedom, born from careful observation, is a hallmark of high-value men. It allows them to live with purpose, intention, and integrity. Every day presents countless opportunities to practice this skill. Listen closely to conversations, notice patterns in behavior, pay attention to energy, and reflect on interactions afterward. Avoid jumping to conclusions. Resist the urge to react immediately. Ask questions thoughtfully. Consider motives, contexts, and consequences. Observe consistently. Learn deliberately. Act intentionally. This repeated practice develops mastery over time. The man who observes carefully before reacting gains a distinct advantage in every area of life, creating trust, influence, and respect that is undeniable.
Chapter 4. Prioritize your energy on things that truly matter. Energy is the most valuable currency a man possesses. Every thought,
Every decision, every action consumes it, and once it is spent, it cannot be reclaimed. High-value men understand that their energy is limited and precious. They do not give it away carelessly to distractions, drama, or tasks that offer little return. Instead, they consciously choose where to invest it. Prioritizing energy is not about working harder. It is about directing yourself toward what truly advances your life, your relationships, and your purpose. A man who controls his energy controls the quality of his days, the results he achieves, and the influence he carries. The first step is awareness. You must understand where your energy is going before you can decide where it should go. Many men drift through life allowing circumstances, other people, or fleeting obligations to dictate their focus. They spend hours reacting to things that do not matter, while neglecting the activities that build strength, skill, and value. A high-value man observes how he spends his attention and effort. He identifies tasks, people, and habits that drain energy unnecessarily and replaces them with actions that align with his priorities. Energy invested with intention produces results. Energy wasted produces regret. Focus is a natural byproduct of energy management. When you prioritize what matters, distractions lose power. A high-value man understands that every moment spent on trivial matters is a moment taken from his goals, health, or growth. He creates boundaries around his time, attention, and interaction. Social media, gossip, overthinking, and negativity are minimized because they do not contribute to meaningful progress. Instead, he channels his energy into deliberate action that moves him closer to his vision. The difference between ordinary men and high-value men is not always talent. It is the ability to focus energy consistently on what truly matters. Emotional energy is equally important. High-value men recognize that stress, anger, and resentment consume more power than any physical task. Carrying grudges, dwelling on past mistakes, or overreacting to challenges depletes reserves needed for growth and performance. By prioritizing emotional energy, a man learns to respond rather than react, to forgive rather than cling, and to maintain composure under pressure. This emotional discipline strengthens relationships, enhances clarity, and improves decision-making. The man who masters his emotional energy lives with balance, control, and purpose. Energy prioritization also requires saying no. The world constantly demands your attention, often with little regard for your goals. A high-value man evaluates requests, invitations, and opportunities through the lens of value and alignment. Saying no is not selfish, it is a strategic choice to protect your capacity for what truly matters. Every time you commit to something that does not serve your purpose, you dilute your focus and diminish results. Learning to decline politely but firmly is one of the most powerful habits a man can develop. It is the foundation for energy preservation and effective prioritization. Physical energy is a critical factor in prioritization. A man cannot operate at his best without taking care of his body. Nutrition, movement, sleep, and rest are investments in future productivity. High-value men understand that their performance in every area of life depends on the fuel and care they provide their bodies. Neglecting physical energy leads to fatigue, poor focus, and compromised decisions. Prioritizing tasks only works when energy is replenished and maintained. When your body is alert and strong, you have the capacity to handle challenges, seize opportunities, and act with clarity and purpose. Time management is directly tied to energy management. Every minute spent on low-value activities is a drain. High-value men plan their days with intention. They identify the few tasks that produce the most significant impact and dedicate their best energy to completing them first. This practice is not about doing everything at once, but about strategically allocating energy where it will yield the greatest return. It is the difference between busy work and meaningful work. Prioritization ensures that effort aligns with outcomes, and effort without alignment is wasted. Relationships also consume energy, and choosing carefully is essential. People who constantly complain, argue, or demand attention can drain even the strongest man. High-value men surround themselves with those who uplift, challenge, and inspire growth. Investing energy in relationships that are mutually supportive creates momentum in life. It is not about avoiding difficult people entirely, but about recognizing where your engagement produces value and where it produces exhaustion. Energy is too precious to expend on negativity without purpose. Relationships should amplify your focus, not dilute it. High-value men also prioritize learning and growth. Mental energy is finite, and what you feed your mind shapes your thoughts, decisions, and actions. Spending hours on mindless consumption or trivial entertainment depletes energy without return. Instead, a man directs his attention toward learning, reading, practicing skills, or engaging in conversations that challenge and expand his thinking. This deliberate investment of mental energy produces long-term returns in wisdom, influence, and problem-solving ability. Growth requires energy, and energy directed wisely becomes the engine of self-improvement. Reflection and evaluation are crucial for energy prioritization. At the end of each day, a high-value man reviews where his energy went. He notes what produced results, what drained him unnecessarily, and what can be adjusted. This practice builds awareness and allows for continuous refinement. Without reflection, energy is easily misallocated, and habits of inefficiency persist unnoticed. Taking the time to examine the day reinforces control and ensures that tomorrow's energy is spent more strategically than today's. Small adjustments compound into significant improvement over time. High-value men also recognize that focus is strengthened by environment. Your surroundings, your workspace, and even your digital space influence how efficiently energy is used. A cluttered, noisy, or chaotic environment consumes mental and emotional energy unnecessarily. By creating a space that supports clarity, calm, and productivity, a man preserves energy for high-value tasks. This environmental discipline may seem minor, but its effect is powerful. Every decision about where you place yourself or how you structure your surroundings impacts your ability to prioritize effectively. Energy prioritization requires discipline in daily habits. Eating well, exercising consistently, focusing on deep work, and limiting distractions are all deliberate actions that maintain energy levels. High-value men treat these habits as non-negotiable investments in their capacity to perform, lead, and influence. When energy is conserved and strategically deployed, the quality of decisions, interactions, and results improves dramatically. Small, disciplined routines accumulate into extraordinary outcomes over time. Energy management is not a one-time act. It is a lifestyle choice, reinforced through consistent practice. Decision-making consumes energy, and prioritizing wisely reduces unnecessary expenditure. High-value men avoid impulsive choices driven by emotions, habits, or social pressure. They pause, assess, and select options that align with their goals, values, and highest priorities. Every time you make a conscious choice, rather than a reactive one, you save energy for matters that truly impact your life. Prioritization is not just about choosing what to do, it is about choosing where to place your energy for maximum effectiveness. High-value men also invest energy in purpose-driven activities. Goals, vision, and personal mission are magnets for directing effort. By focusing on pursuits that align with purpose, a man ensures that his energy produces tangible, meaningful results. Busy work or obligations that lack connection to long-term vision are minimized. Purpose provides a framework for energy allocation, guiding choices, interactions, and tasks. When energy is spent on meaningful endeavors, every action reinforces progress and momentum, creating a compounding effect on personal value and influence. Energy is amplified through sleep and recovery. High-value men understand that pushing relentlessly without rest is counterproductive. Sleep replenishes mental, emotional, and physical energy, allowing for focus, creativity, and resilience. Recovery is not laziness, it is strategic investment. Without replenishment, energy dissipates, motivation declines, and performance suffers. Prioritizing rest ensures that energy remains available for the activities that truly matter, creating sustainable productivity and long-term growth. High-value men also recognize that negativity drains energy faster than effort. Complaints, arguments, and dwelling on setbacks consume more power than tackling difficult work. By consciously minimizing engagement with negativity, a man preserves energy for solutions, learning, and productive action. Optimism, resilience, and proactive behavior are energy multipliers. Observing how interactions, media, and situations affect your energy allows for deliberate choices that strengthen performance rather than weaken it. Finally, prioritizing energy requires ongoing evaluation of impact. High-value men constantly assess whether their time, effort, and focus are producing meaningful results. Tasks, relationships, and commitments are continually refined based on value and alignment with goals. Energy is finite, and using it wisely requires vigilance. By investing energy in high-value activities, conserving it from drains, and consistently reassessing priorities, a man ensures that every day contributes to growth, influence, and fulfillment. Prioritizing energy is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. It requires mindfulness, discipline, and self-awareness. Every action, interaction, and habit must be evaluated for its contribution to long-term goals and personal value. Energy spent carelessly is lost forever, while energy invested deliberately compounds into mastery, influence, and respect. The man who consistently directs his energy toward what matters becomes unstoppable. He accomplishes more with less effort. He maintains focus, composure, and clarity even in chaos. He moves forward while others remain distracted or drained. High-value men understand that energy is tied to choice. Each day presents countless options for where to focus. The decision to act intentionally, to eliminate distractions, and to invest in meaningful pursuits creates a trajectory of growth, accomplishment, and personal satisfaction. Prioritization ensures that energy aligns with vision, purpose, and long-term success. The quality of a man's life is determined not by how much he works, but by how wisely he uses his energy. When a man masters his energy, he transforms his life. He becomes capable of handling challenges without exhaustion, building relationships without strain, and pursuing goals with clarity. Prioritizing energy is the foundation for discipline, influence, and achievement. It allows a man to create impact without depletion, to lead without frustration, and to live intentionally without distraction. Every high-value man understands that energy is the fuel for every accomplishment, and investing it wisely is the ultimate strategy for personal growth and success.
Chapter 5. Speak less and act more to show real confidence. Confidence is not measured by the volume of words spoken. It is demonstrated by action, presence, and results. A high-value man understands that speaking less and acting more is one of the most powerful ways to command respect and influence. Words alone can create the illusion of competence, but action proves it. Talking without follow-through drains credibility, wastes energy, and diminishes authority. Every time you act decisively instead of over-explaining, you show that your confidence is rooted in competence, preparation, and self-assurance rather than ego or performance. Speaking less does not mean being silent. It means being intentional with words. High-value men understand that every statement carries weight. They communicate when necessary, with clarity and purpose. They listen actively, observe carefully, and respond thoughtfully. By speaking selectively, they create an aura of control and composure. People notice when a man's words are measured, deliberate, and meaningful. This subtle restraint communicates confidence far more powerfully than constant talking. Those who act more than they speak demonstrate mastery over both themselves and their environment. Action is the ultimate proof of confidence. When a man acts decisively, he demonstrates clarity of thought, skill, and conviction. High-value men understand that plans, ideas, and intentions are meaningless without execution. Taking initiative, completing tasks, and producing results show others that words are backed by competence. Action builds trust, strengthens influence, and positions a man as reliable and capable. People respect those who get things done more than those who simply promise, discuss, or theorize. Confidence is not proclaimed, it is displayed through tangible achievements. Speaking less also cultivates observation and understanding. When a man restrains his speech, he creates space to notice details that others overlook. He listens to tone, body language, and unspoken messages. He interprets contexts, understands motives, and gains insight before responding. High-value men know that reacting impulsively often leads to mistakes or misjudgments. By observing first and speaking second, they make informed decisions that reflect wisdom and control. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It preserves energy, increases focus, and amplifies effectiveness. Action breeds credibility. High-value men understand that confidence cannot be claimed with words alone. Others measure it by result. Completing projects, solving problems, and delivering on promises build an undeniable track record. Words promise potential, action demonstrates reality. Each accomplishment reinforces self-belief, strengthens reputation, and encourages trust from others. The more a man acts with competence, the less he needs to defend, explain, or justify. Speaking less and acting more creates a reputation that speaks louder than any words ever could. Restraint in speech also enhances influence. People naturally respect those who do not feel the need to fill every silence with noise. When a man chooses words carefully, each statement carries authority. Others are more likely to listen, consider, and follow guidance because they recognize intention behind speech. High-value men know that influence is earned through demonstration, not declaration. Speaking less is a tool to increase impact. The fewer the words, the stronger their effect when finally spoken. Acting more builds internal confidence that words cannot create. Confidence born from talking is fragile, dependent on external validation. Confidence built through consistent action is grounded, enduring, and self-sustaining. Every step taken, every challenge met, and every goal achieved reinforces belief in one's capability. High-value men cultivate this internal strength through repeated practice, consistent effort, and deliberate choices. Action replaces doubt with certainty and fear with resolve. Real confidence grows in doing, not debating. Time management improves when a man speaks less and acts more. Talking excessively often consumes energy and focus without producing results. High-value men recognize that their time is limited and valuable. They direct it toward tasks, projects, relationships, and opportunities that matter. Energy is preserved for execution, reflection, and refinement. By prioritizing action over conversation, they make measurable progress every day. Speaking less does not mean disengaging. It means allocating energy toward impact rather than noise. Speaking less also strengthens self-control. High-value men resist the urge to react impulsively, interrupt, or dominate conversations. They maintain composure in tense situations, allowing observation and understanding to guide responses. Restraint communicates strength and discipline. People sense when a man is deliberate in speech, measured in emotion, and intentional in action. Acting thoughtfully, rather than reacting immediately, demonstrates mastery over oneself. This control reinforces respect and influence in personal and professional settings. Confidence through action also inspires others. A man who demonstrates competence, resilience, and initiative sets a standard for those around him. Words alone may motivate temporarily, but action motivates consistently. High-value men lead by example, showing that results matter more than promises. Their behavior creates an environment where others are encouraged to act, improve, and achieve. Influence is magnified when actions align with words, and credibility is established without boasting or explaining. High-value men also use action to eliminate doubt. Many people talk excessively to convince themselves or others of their ability. Action eliminates the need for explanation or justification. It provides undeniable evidence of skill, judgment, and integrity. Each accomplishment reinforces self-belief and builds trust externally. Confidence becomes visible, measurable, and undeniable. Speaking less while acting more establishes authority naturally, creating impact without effortful persuasion. Decisiveness is strengthened through action. High-value men make choices promptly and follow through with commitment. Hesitation often signals insecurity, while decisive action signals clarity, competence, and confidence. Each decision acted upon reinforces the ability to evaluate, choose, and execute effectively. Over time, decisiveness becomes habitual, shaping a life where confidence is expressed consistently in behavior rather than mere words. Those who act decisively inspire trust, encourage cooperation, and achieve results others only aspire to. Action also builds momentum. High-value men know that progress compounds through consistent effort. Small, deliberate steps each day accumulate into significant achievement over time. Speaking alone does not create momentum. It only creates expectation. Action creates measurable results, confidence, and credibility simultaneously. The more you do, the more doors open. Momentum fuels further action, and the habit of execution becomes a defining characteristic of influence and high value. Speaking less allows for strategic observation of people and situations. High-value men notice nuances, intentions, and opportunities that others miss. Silence gives time to interpret, evaluate, and respond intelligently. Acting after careful observation ensures maximum impact and effectiveness. This strategic approach reduces errors, increases respect, and amplifies results. The man who observes carefully and acts decisively avoids unnecessary conflict, builds trust, and achieves objectives with minimal effort wasted. Energy efficiency improves when words are used sparingly. Talking excessively drains focus and dilutes impact. High-value men conserve energy for action, decisions, and problem-solving. Words are deployed only when they serve a clear purpose. Each statement is intentional, purposeful, and influential. This approach increases effectiveness in communication, leadership, and relationships. Acting more than speaking amplifies energy, maintains clarity, and ensures that influence is rooted in performance rather than persuasion. Action also reinforces learning. Skills, knowledge, and competence develop through practice, not theory. High-value men engage actively with challenges, projects, and responsibilities to build mastery. Words can convey understanding, but action proves it. Each task completed, each challenge met, and each obstacle overcome strengthens confidence, skill, and credibility. Learning through action accelerates growth, creates lasting results, and reinforces the ability to lead, influence, and perform under pressure. Speaking less and acting more fosters authenticity. High-value men do not need to over-explain, justify, or impress others with words. Their behavior aligns with their values, intentions, and abilities. This authenticity builds trust, strengthens relationships, and increases influence. People respect and follow those whose actions reflect integrity and competence. Action communicates authenticity more powerfully than words, and consistent behavior confirms it over time. Prioritizing action over words also creates resilience. High-value men face obstacles, setbacks, and challenges with persistence. They do not waste energy arguing or explaining. They focus on solutions and execution. Every step forward, every adjustment made, strengthens their ability to overcome difficult. Action becomes the measure of persistence, discipline, and growth. Speaking less allows energy to be applied where it matters, ensuring that challenges are met with progress rather than complaint or debate. Acting more than speaking also builds influence without aggression. High-value men impact their environment through performance, reliability, and initiative. Influence arises naturally when results speak louder than rhetoric. People recognize competence, commitment, and leadership through consistent action. This influence is sustainable, respected, and effective. It requires patience, discipline, and consistency, but its power surpasses any temporary effect of excessive speech or superficial charm. Finally, speaking less and acting more cultivates long-term success. High-value men understand that results accumulate over time. Effort, focus, and execution compound into achievement, recognition, and respect. Words may create impression temporarily, but consistent action creates lasting impact. Every decision, project, and task executed with focus strengthens character, reputation, and capability. Real confidence is built on this foundation, visible in behavior, felt in presence, and recognized by those around you. Mastery of speech and action is a daily practice. High-value men evaluate the necessity, impact, and timing of words. They act decisively, consistently, and intentionally. Each day is an opportunity to demonstrate competence, build credibility, and reinforce self-confidence. Speaking less and acting more is not a strategy. It is a lifestyle. It requires mindfulness, discipline, and courage to prioritize results over appearances. The man who embodies this principle gains respect, influence, and authority that is undeniable and lasting.
Chapter 6. Train your mind to stay calm under any pressure. Life is full of situations that test a man's composure. Stress, deadlines, unexpected challenges, and difficult people are constant pressures that can shake confidence if the mind is untrained. High-value men do not let circumstances dictate their emotional state. They cultivate a mind that remains calm, clear, and focused regardless of external chaos. Calmness is not passivity or indifference, it is strength. It allows a man to think clearly, make sound decisions, and act with control even when everyone else around him is panicking. Developing this mental discipline transforms how you experience life, how others perceive you, and how effectively you navigate challenges. The first step in training the mind is awareness. You cannot control what you do not recognize. Notice how your mind reacts when situations become stressful. Observe physical sensations, racing thoughts, and emotional spikes. High-value men study their patterns under pressure. Awareness is the foundation for control. By noticing the triggers that disturb your calm, you gain the opportunity to respond differently. Awareness turns automatic reaction into conscious choice, and conscious choice is the starting point for consistent composure. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools to manage pressure.
When tension rises, the body reacts physically before the mind catches up. Heart rate increases, muscles tighten, and stress hormones surge. High-value men use deliberate breathing to interrupt this chain reaction. Deep, slow breaths signal to the nervous system that there is no immediate danger. This simple practice allows clarity to return, reduces impulsive reactions, and restores focus. Breathing is a tool available anytime, anywhere, and it is a cornerstone of mental control under pressure. Perspective is another critical component. A high-value man views challenges as temporary and situational rather than overwhelming or personal. Most stress is amplified by perception, not reality. By reframing difficulties as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow, pressure becomes manageable. Calmness arises when the mind recognizes that obstacles are part of life and that panic or overreaction achieves nothing productive. Seeing situations clearly, without emotional exaggeration, allows for measured responses that produce results rather than regret. Preparation strengthens calmness. A man who is consistently ready for challenges experiences less mental strain when pressure arrives. Preparation includes skills, knowledge, and planning. High-value men invest time in developing abilities that make them capable of handling unexpected situations. Confidence in preparation reduces fear, hesitation, and doubt. Knowing that you have trained, learned, and anticipated possible scenarios allows the mind to remain steady even when external conditions are unpredictable. Calmness is a product of readiness and competence. Routine practices also condition the mind for resilience. Meditation, journaling, and focused reflection are exercises that strengthen mental discipline. High-value men dedicate time to training attention, managing emotions, and reinforcing perspective. Consistency in mental conditioning ensures that when real pressure arises, the mind reacts with control rather than panic. Like physical training, the results compound over time. Each session builds endurance, mental clarity, and emotional stability, creating a foundation for composure under stress. High-value men also manage the information they consume. Overexposure to negative news, gossip, and social chaos taxes the mind and amplifies stress. By choosing inputs carefully, a man reduces unnecessary agitation and preserves mental energy for situations that demand focus. Calmness requires protecting the mind from unnecessary noise. This practice reinforces clarity, improves decision-making, and enhances emotional control, making it easier to respond strategically under pressure. Decision-making is strengthened by calmness. High-value men understand that panic leads to error. When the mind remains steady, decisions are more logical, effective, and aligned with long-term goals. Calmness allows for assessment of options, anticipation of consequences, and selection of the best course of action. Acting under pressure with clarity produces results that speak louder than frantic effort or impulsive reaction. Each decision made calmly reinforces confidence and strengthens the habit of composure. Self-talk is another tool for mental control. High-value men monitor the language they use internally, replacing doubt, fear, and negativity with constructive statements. Words shape thought patterns, and thought patterns shape reaction. By practicing positive and solution-focused self-talk, a man trains his mind to respond with calm and focus. The language of the mind directly impacts behavior under stress. Controlling internal dialogue is a powerful method for staying composed and acting effectively under pressure. High-value men also maintain physical resilience as a pathway to mental calmness. Sleep, nutrition, and exercise are critical for the mind to operate effectively under stress. Fatigue, poor diet, and lack of physical activity amplify emotional reactivity and cloud judgment. By caring for the body, a man strengthens his ability to maintain clarity, patience, and rational thinking under pressure. Physical preparedness reinforces mental stability, creating a cycle of strength, resilience, and composure. Observation of others is a skill tied to calmness. High-value men watch how people react under pressure, noticing behaviors, patterns, and triggers. Learning from these observations provides insight into human behavior, helping a man anticipate reactions and adapt effectively. Calmness is reinforced when a man understands the dynamics around him. Predictability in others' behavior reduces stress, allowing him to remain steady, plan strategically, and influence outcomes with authority and poise. Managing emotional triggers is essential. Pressure often arises when personal values, expectations, or ego are challenged. High-value men recognize triggers quickly and prevent them from dictating responses. They pause, breathe, and assess before reacting. This pause interrupts automatic emotional responses, replacing them with conscious, deliberate action. Mastery over emotional triggers ensures that composure is maintained even in tense, high-stakes, or confrontational situations. High-value men also cultivate patience under pressure. They understand that rushing decisions or reacting impulsively rarely produces optimal results. Calmness allows time to gather information, consider consequences, and act thoughtfully. Patience transforms pressure into opportunity by creating space for deliberate action. By practicing patience consistently, a man strengthens resilience, reduces regret, and develops a reputation for level-headedness that enhances influence and credibility. Mindset shapes perception of pressure. High-value men view challenges as tests rather than threats. Stressful situations become opportunities to learn, improve, and prove capability. This mindset shift reduces emotional reactivity and strengthens confidence. Calmness is a product of perspective. By focusing on solutions, learning, and adaptation, rather than fear or frustration, a man maintains clarity and performs effectively regardless of external conditions. High-value men use visualization techniques to prepare for pressure. Mentally rehearsing challenges, obstacles, and difficult scenarios trains the mind to remain composed when confronted with reality. Visualization creates familiarity with high-stakes situations, reducing anxiety and strengthening confidence. By seeing themselves respond calmly, strategically, and effectively, a man programs the mind for real-world composure. Mental rehearsal bridges preparation and execution, reinforcing clarity under stress. Accountability reinforces calmness. High-value men take responsibility for actions, outcomes, and reactions. Blaming others or circumstances amplifies stress, whereas accepting responsibility shifts control back to the individual. This mindset ensures composure, reduces anxiety, and empowers a man to act deliberately. Confidence in handling consequences enhances calmness, and repeated practice of this accountability builds resilience under pressure over time. High-value men also practice detachment from outcomes. Pressure often intensifies when results are uncertain. By focusing on effort, action, and intentional behavior rather than fixating on results, a man maintains composure. Calmness arises from controlling what can be controlled and accepting what cannot. This mindset reduces stress, improves focus, and enhances decision-making, allowing a man to perform effectively, even in high-pressure situations where variables are unpredictable. Routine exposure to manageable stress strengthens mental resilience. High-value men deliberately challenge themselves in controlled ways to build tolerance for pressure. Public speaking, difficult conversations, physical challenges, or high-stakes problem-solving are examples. Each experience reinforces the ability to remain calm, think clearly, and act decisively. Pressure becomes less intimidating over time, and confidence grows through repeated practice and experience. Reflection consolidates calmness. High-value men review situations after challenges to analyze reactions, decisions, and emotional responses. They identify what worked, what could improve, and how to handle similar situations better in the future. Reflection strengthens self-awareness and reinforces mental control. Learning from each experience reduces the likelihood of being overwhelmed in the future, gradually creating a steady, composed, and resilient mindset. High-value men also cultivate supportive environments. Being surrounded by calm, disciplined, and focused people reinforces composure. Energy is preserved and directed effectively when chaos, negativity, or drama are minimized. Calmness is easier to maintain when external conditions support focus rather than drain. High-value men recognize the influence of environment on mental state and strategically design surroundings to sustain composure. High-value men understand that mental calmness under pressure is contagious. Calm behavior influences the reactions of others, stabilizes group dynamics, and promotes effective collaboration. Acting with composure creates trust, encourages cooperation, and diffuses tension. Influence grows when others see a man navigating difficulty without panic. This effect amplifies personal credibility, leadership, and impact in both professional and personal contexts. Finally, high-value men understand that training the mind for calmness is a lifelong commitment. Pressure is unavoidable, but the ability to respond with clarity, control, and purpose is cultivated through consistent practice. Awareness, preparation, patience, perspective, self-control, reflection, and deliberate action all reinforce mental resilience. Each day presents opportunities to exercise composure in small and large ways. Over time, calmness becomes instinctive, transforming pressure from a threat into an opportunity for clarity, growth, and influence.
Chapter 7. Take responsibility for everything in your life without excuses. Taking responsibility is one of the most defining actions a man can take. Every choice, every decision, and every outcome in life is influenced by your willingness to own your circumstances. Excuses, blame, and justification are the easy path, but they steal power and slow progress. High-value men understand that the moment they accept full responsibility for their lives, they reclaim control over their destiny. This is not about guilt or harsh self-criticism. It is about clarity, ownership, and the ability to act deliberately in every area of life. Responsibility is freedom disguised as accountability. The first step is honesty. A high-value man looks squarely at his current situation without softening the reality with excuses. He examines finances, relationships, health, career, habits, and mindset objectively. This honest assessment is uncomfortable at times, but discomfort is necessary for growth. Blaming circumstances or other people only prolongs stagnation. When a man accepts that his life reflects his choices, he gains the power to change it. Responsibility begins with truth, and truth allows a clear path forward. Excuses are subtle. They often appear as justification, rationalization, or even well-intentioned explanations. A high-value man notices these patterns in himself. Every time he says, "I couldn't because," or "it's not my fault," he recognizes that energy is being diverted from solutions to avoidance. Excuses diminish influence, erode credibility, and maintain mediocrity. By rejecting excuses, a man frees himself from limitation, embraces ownership, and opens the door to deliberate improvement in every aspect of life. Taking responsibility requires accountability. High-value men hold themselves answerable for both success and failure. They do not wait for recognition, permission, or guidance to act. Mistakes are acknowledged without delay or deflection. This habit builds self-respect and earns the respect of others. Accountability is the bridge between intention and execution. Every action, choice, and result becomes an opportunity to strengthen character and reinforce control over life circumstances. Action is inseparable from responsibility. It is not enough to acknowledge your role in life.
You must act decisively to improve it. High-value men create plans, set goals, and take steps daily that align with desired outcomes. Waiting, blaming, or hoping for external change is a path to frustration. Ownership demands initiative. When a man acts consistently in alignment with his responsibility, results accumulate, confidence grows, and influence expands. Action converts awareness into tangible progress. High-value men understand that responsibility includes relationships, family, friends, colleagues, and partners all benefit when a man accepts his role in interactions. Complaints, criticism, or avoidance do not solve conflicts. Instead, taking responsibility means contributing positively, communicating clearly, and acting with integrity even when challenges arise. Relationships improve when a man focuses on what he can control rather than what he cannot. Ownership in this area builds trust, strengthens bonds, and establishes a reputation for reliability and maturity. Financial responsibility is a cornerstone of personal growth. High-value men do not blame economic conditions, employers, or debt for their situation. They accept accountability for income, expenses, savings, and investment. This mindset shifts focus from limitation to opportunity. By taking ownership of financial decisions, a man gains control over his future. Budgeting, planning, and disciplined action are not burdens. They are expressions of mastery over circumstances. Responsibility creates freedom to make choices instead of being trapped by circumstance. Health is another area where responsibility cannot be delegated. High-value men do not blame genetics, lifestyle, or past habits for their condition. They acknowledge what they control: nutrition, exercise, rest, and habits. Every decision contributes to long-term vitality or depletion. Taking responsibility for health is empowering. It transforms how energy is managed, how challenges are faced, and how life is experienced. A strong body supports a strong mind, and ownership of health reinforces confidence in every decision and action. Responsibility also applies to personal growth and mindset. High-value men do not wait for motivation, circumstances, or external encouragement to improve themselves. They invest in learning, reflection, and practice every day. Reading, skill development, mentorship, and intentional exposure to new experiences are choices made with full ownership of the growth process. Blaming a lack of opportunity or time only limits potential. Taking responsibility for learning ensures progress, adaptability, and the ability to thrive under pressure. Mistakes are inevitable, but responsibility changes how they are handled. High-value men view mistakes as feedback, not failure. When errors occur, they analyze what went wrong, identify actionable solutions, and adjust their approach. Excuses have no role in growth. Ownership transforms setbacks into lessons and opportunities for improvement. The man who embraces responsibility turns adversity into a tool for development rather than a source of frustration. This mindset strengthens resilience, decision-making, and long-term success. High-value men also take responsibility for their emotions. External events and other people cannot control how a man feels unless he allows it. Anger, frustration, disappointment, and fear are signals, not dictates. By accepting ownership of emotional reactions, a man maintains composure, clarity, and influence. He chooses how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Emotional ownership improves relationships, enhances decision-making, and reinforces credibility. Calm, measured responses are a direct result of taking full responsibility for internal states. Environment is another domain of responsibility. High-value men shape surroundings that support growth, clarity, and purpose. They are aware that clutter, chaos, negativity, and distraction reduce effectiveness. By taking ownership of living and working spaces, a man preserves energy, focus, and mental clarity. Environment is a reflection of priorities, and controlling it demonstrates discipline and intentionality. Responsibility in this area enhances performance, confidence, and long-term achievement. High-value men understand the power of consistency. Responsibility is not a one-time declaration, but a daily practice. Every choice, interaction, and habit contributes to the trajectory of life. A single day of avoidance or excuse may seem small, but repeated patterns define results. By consistently choosing ownership, action, and accountability, a man compounds progress over time. Habits of responsibility become the foundation for influence, credibility, and personal growth. Taking responsibility also improves problem solving. High-value men approach challenges by asking what they can do rather than who is to blame. This mindset shifts energy from complaint to solution. Every problem becomes an opportunity to demonstrate competence, creativity, and initiative. By focusing on actionable steps rather than excuses, a man builds momentum, confidence, and results. Responsibility transforms obstacles into stepping stones rather than barriers. High-value men also take responsibility for their time. Every day offers 24 hours, and how it is used is a direct reflection of ownership. Procrastination, distraction, and indecision are choices. By taking accountability for scheduling, focus, and productivity, a man ensures that energy is directed toward meaningful goals. Time management is an expression of responsibility, and mastery of it amplifies achievement, influence, and personal satisfaction. Social responsibility is equally important. High-value men recognize the impact of their actions on others. They contribute positively to communities, workplaces, and networks. Complaining about society or circumstances without engagement is avoidance. Taking ownership of social impact, participation, and contributions strengthens influence and legacy. Responsibility is not limited to self, it extends outward, enhancing relationships, collaboration, and trust in every area of life. High-value men also take responsibility for their choices in character. Integrity, honesty, reliability, and respect are not dictated by circumstances. They are deliberate choices. A man who claims moral responsibility for his actions builds trust, respect, and influence. Blaming situations or others for ethical lapses undermines credibility. Ownership of character ensures consistency, reliability, and alignment with personal values. This form of responsibility reinforces every decision, interaction, and achievement. Learning to accept responsibility without excuses requires courage. High-value men face reality even when it is uncomfortable. They do not shy away from acknowledging mistakes, shortcomings, or failures. Courage in ownership strengthens resilience, reinforces credibility, and accelerates growth. Excuses are easy and tempting, but they rob a man of power. Facing reality honestly and taking action builds self-respect, independence, and confidence that no external validation can match. High-value men also teach responsibility through example. Those around them observe how challenges, setbacks, and opportunities are handled. Demonstrating accountability inspires others to rise to the same standard. Families, teams, and peers benefit from seeing responsibility modeled consistently. Influence grows naturally when others recognize that words align with actions and that ownership is non-negotiable. This principle multiplies impact, creating environments of trust, discipline, and progress. Reflection strengthens responsibility. High-value men regularly evaluate outcomes, decisions, and habits. They identify areas where ownership can be improved and adjust accordingly. This ongoing practice transforms awareness into deliberate action. By reflecting on the consequences of both choices and inaction, a man reinforces the habit of accountability, Continuous evaluation ensures that responsibility is practiced consciously, intentionally, and effectively every day. Finally, high-value men embrace responsibility as a source of freedom and empowerment. Excuses, blame, and avoidance create dependency, limitation, and frustration. Ownership transforms life into a series of choices rather than a series of reactions. A man who accepts responsibility controls his destiny, shapes his habits, strengthens his relationships, and builds his influence. Every area of life becomes an opportunity for improvement, mastery, and fulfillment. Taking responsibility is the path to independence, confidence, and lasting success. Ownership is not punishment, it is power. Every challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate competence, resilience, and growth. Every decision becomes a tool for shaping life intentionally. High-value men do not wait for circumstances to improve. They create improvement through deliberate choices, disciplined action, and accountability. Responsibility transforms ordinary men into men of influence, strength, and character. The man who takes full ownership of his life becomes unstoppable, respected, and admired.
Chapter 8. Set clear boundaries to protect your time and value. A man's time and value are two of his most precious resources, yet they are constantly tested by demands, distractions, and the expectations of others. High-value men understand that without clear boundaries, both are easily eroded. Setting boundaries is not about being rude or distant. It is about protecting what enables you perform, grow, and influence effectively. Boundaries are a declaration of self-respect, clarity, and purpose. They allow focus, energy, and attention to be applied where it matters most, while minimizing unnecessary drain. The first step in boundary setting is recognizing what is non-negotiable in your life. High-value men identify core priorities, values, and commitments. These are the areas that define their progress, relationships, and integrity. When you know what is essential, it becomes easier to say no to what distracts or diminishes your energy. Every compromise made outside of these priorities comes at a cost. Understanding the true value of time and effort creates the foundation for setting boundaries confidently and consistently. Boundaries are reinforced through communication. High-value men do not assume others understand their limits. They express expectations clearly, calmly, and without apology, whether in personal or professional relationships. Stating what is acceptable and what is not protects both time and mental energy. Clarity prevents misunderstandings, reduces conflict, and creates mutual respect. People respond positively when boundaries are conveyed with confidence and consistency because they communicate strength and self-awareness. Protecting your time begins with evaluating commitments. Every engagement, meeting, or favor should be assessed for alignment with priorities. High-value men recognize that their energy is limited and cannot be spread evenly across every request. Saying no to low-value tasks, distractions, and obligations is a sign of responsibility and self-mastery. Time invested in the wrong places is energy lost. Protecting time ensures that focus is applied to high-impact actions, goals, and relationships. Boundaries are also essential in relationships. People naturally gravitate toward those who are available, and without limits, others may consume attention excessively. High-value men establish clear expectations in friendships, family, and professional circles. They allocate time, space, and energy proportionally to those relationships that contribute positively to their growth and well-being. This does not mean neglecting responsibility or care, but rather acting strategically to preserve capacity for high-value interactions. Emotional boundaries are equally important. High-value men refuse to take on the unnecessary drama, complaints, or negativity of others.
They listen with empathy, but avoid absorbing stress that does not belong to them. Protecting emotional energy is a crucial aspect of maintaining clarity, calmness, and effectiveness. Boundaries prevent mental exhaustion, improve focus, and allow a man to respond to challenges with composure rather than reaction. Emotional self-protection is not selfish, it is a strategy for sustainable impact. Technology and media are modern challenges to boundaries. Notifications, messages, and endless streams of information consume attention without producing value. High-value men set limits on when and how they engage with these tools. Time spent mindlessly scrolling, arguing online, or consuming low-value content is time and energy lost. By defining clear usage rules, a man preserves mental clarity and focus for meaningful work. Boundaries in the digital space protect both productivity and emotional well-being. Physical boundaries also influence effectiveness. High-value men protect space and personal energy. This includes sleep, exercise, nutrition, and environment. Overcommitting to social obligations or work without replenishment diminishes performance. Boundaries around physical needs ensure that energy levels remain sufficient for action, problem-solving, and decision-making. Protecting the body through structure and limits enhances clarity, resilience, and long-term capability. High-value men also enforce boundaries in their professional life. Time is a finite resource, and prioritizing tasks according to impact is critical. Delegation, scheduling, and selective involvement prevent burnout and inefficiency. Saying no to requests that do not align with priorities is not a limitation, but an investment in meaningful outcomes. Boundaries in professional settings create leverage, improve productivity, and signal competence. People respect those who manage their commitments deliberately and refuse to overextend unnecessarily. Financial boundaries protect value by ensuring resources are allocated strategically. High-value men do not allow pressure, impulse, or social expectation to dictate spending, investment, or financial priorities. They establish clear limits, follow budgets, and protect their resources from waste. Financial discipline preserves freedom, reduces stress, and creates opportunities for long-term growth. Setting financial boundaries is an expression of control over life and a commitment to self-respect and stability. Boundaries are strengthened through consistency. High-value men do not set rules sporadically or let others test limits repeatedly. Consistent enforcement communicates clarity, reliability, and self-respect. Inconsistency invites disregard and erodes influence. Every time a man honors his own boundaries, he reinforces internal discipline and external credibility. Boundaries are most effective when non-negotiable, predictable, and aligned with values and priorities. Assertiveness is a skill necessary for boundary maintenance. High-value men express limits without apology or aggression. Calm, direct communication communicates strength, competence, and respect for both self and others. Assertiveness prevents manipulation, confusion, and unnecessary compromise. It signals that a man values his time, energy, and priorities, which in turn encourages others to respect his presence and contributions. High-value men understand that boundaries protect opportunity. Without limits, attention and effort are consumed by low-value tasks, distractions, and obligations. By focusing energy on meaningful work, relationships, and personal growth, a man maximizes outcomes. Boundaries ensure that action produces measurable progress. Every day that energy is wasted outside of priorities is a lost opportunity for advancement. Protecting focus amplifies results and reinforces personal value. High-value men also recognize that boundaries improve decision-making. When time, energy, and focus are protected, the mind operates with clarity. Decisions are more deliberate, strategic, and effective. Without boundaries, the the mental and emotional bandwidth required for high-level choices is depleted. Setting limits ensures that each decision is made with full attention, consideration, and intentionality. This practice strengthens leadership, problem-solving, and long-term planning. Boundaries reinforce self-respect. High-value men communicate to themselves and others that their time and energy are valuable. They do not allow constant interruption, obligation, or intrusion to dictate behavior. Protecting boundaries is an expression of self-worth and integrity. It cultivates confidence, reinforces discipline, and ensures that personal standards are maintained consistently across all areas of life. High-value men also use boundaries to reduce stress and overwhelm. Life's demands are endless, but careful allocation of attention creates control. Saying no, prioritizing, and protecting mental, physical, and emotional space prevents exhaustion. Boundaries are not limitations, they are structures that enable action, clarity, and resilience. A man who controls his limits remains composed, effective, and able to navigate challenges without being pulled in multiple directions. High-value men apply boundaries proactively rather than reactively. Waiting until energy is drained or pressure mounts allows erosion of focus and value. Clear expectations, rules, and limits established in advance reduce conflict and ambiguity. Proactive boundaries allow a man to act intentionally, protect his priorities, and influence outcomes effectively. This proactive approach prevents unnecessary compromise and reinforces authority over time. Reflection enhances boundary effectiveness. High-value men review commitments, interactions, and energy expenditure regularly. They identify areas where boundaries were tested, maintained, or neglected. Continuous reflection strengthens awareness, encourages adjustment, and reinforces consistency. Over time, this practice ensures that boundaries remain aligned with priorities, values, and evolving responsibilities. Reflection also builds discipline and reinforces self-respect. Boundaries create freedom rather than limitation. High-value men understand that protecting time, energy, and focus is the gateway to opportunity. Without them, distractions, obligations, and pressure consume potential. With boundaries, the ability to grow, perform, and influence expands dramatically. Every limit established is a space created for meaningful work, growth, and personal satisfaction. Boundaries are not walls, they are tools for empowerment and progress. High-value men also recognize that boundary setting influences culture. Teams, families, and social circles respect consistent enforcement of limits. When a man demonstrates clear priorities, disciplined focus, and protection of value, others adjust behavior accordingly. Boundaries cultivate respect, reduce chaos, and encourage accountability. Influence is strengthened when the environment aligns with the principles of intentionality, self-respect, and effectiveness. High-value men maintain boundaries even under pressure. Requests, crises, or emotional appeals often test limits. Consistency requires courage, clarity, and commitment. Every time boundaries are upheld, internal discipline is reinforced, credibility grows, and focus remains intact. Pressure should not be an excuse to compromise principles. High-value men act deliberately, honoring priorities, and protecting value regardless of external demand. Finally, boundaries are not static, they evolve with growth. High-value men review and adjust limits as goals, responsibilities, and opportunities change. Flexibility is strategic, not reactive. Adaptation ensures boundaries remain effective and aligned with long-term vision. Continuous refinement strengthens control over time, preserves focus, and maximizes value in every area of life. Boundaries are living tools for consistent progress, self-respect, and achievement.
Chapter 9. Seek discomfort regularly to expand your limits naturally. Growth is never comfortable.
Every man who wants to become high value must understand that staying within comfort keeps potential limited. Life rewards those who are willing to stretch, to face challenges, and to embrace discomfort as a teacher. Seeking discomfort is not about reckless action or necessary risk. It is about deliberately choosing situations that challenge the mind, body, and spirit. Each encounter with discomfort expands capability, builds resilience, and strengthens confidence. The man who consistently steps beyond what feels easy or safe gains mastery over circumstances, reactions, and opportunities. The first step is recognizing the difference between risk and discomfort. Discomfort is controlled, purposeful, and intentional. It might involve trying a new skill, facing a fear, or engaging in a situation that stretches confidence. Risk without preparation can be dangerous, but measured discomfort builds strength. High-value men regularly expose themselves to situations that provoke growth without jeopardizing long-term security. This calculated approach creates a safe laboratory where learning, adaptation, and development occur naturally. Physical discomfort is an excellent starting point. Exercise, cold showers, fasting, or rigorous training push the body beyond accustomed limits. High-value men understand that physical challenges translate into mental strength. The discipline required to endure temporary discomfort builds patience, endurance, and resilience. Each time the body is pushed, the mind learns that temporary struggle leads to long-term strength. Physical discomfort is a reliable teacher because results are measurable and immediate, reinforcing the connection between effort and growth. Mental discomfort is equally vital. Challenging one's thinking, learning new concepts, and confronting cognitive biases forces the mind to expand. Reading unfamiliar subjects, engaging in debates, or solving complex problems stimulates growth. High-value men actively seek situations where their comfort zone of thought is tested. Mental challenges sharpen reasoning, improve problem-solving, and enhance creativity. The mind becomes adaptable, flexible, and ready to navigate uncertainty without fear or hesitation. Emotional discomfort is often the most powerful form of growth. High-value men confront fears, insecurities, and vulnerabilities rather than avoiding them. Difficult conversations, public speaking, or pursuing ambitions that provoke doubt are examples. Embracing emotional discomfort strengthens self-confidence, builds courage, and improves relationships. Each confrontation with fear reduces its power, transforming uncertainty into opportunity. Emotional growth occurs when a man faces feelings that are uncomfortable but necessary for development. High-value men understand that discomfort is temporary but growth is lasting. Moments of unease, anxiety, or challenge pass, leaving behind strength, skill, and insight. Avoiding discomfort creates stagnation, while embracing it creates progress. Every time a man chooses to endure difficulty intentionally, he expands the boundaries of what is possible. The accumulation of small acts of courage compounds, transforming limitations into natural capability. Routine exposure to discomfort is essential. High-value men do not wait for crises to test themselves. They seek out small, regular challenges to expand endurance and adaptability. Whether it is tackling a project that feels daunting, learning a skill that intimidates, or entering an unfamiliar social environment, consistent practice makes discomfort familiar. The mind and body become conditioned to stretch without fear, and confidence grows through repeated, deliberate exposure. High-value men also learn to embrace rejection and criticism. These experiences are inherently uncomfortable, but provide insight, feedback, and opportunities for improvement. Avoidance may protect ego temporarily, but it limits growth. By seeking situations where opinions, performance, or actions are scrutinized, a man learns resilience and self-assurance. Constructive discomfort transforms feedback into tools for advancement rather than reasons for retreat. Criticism becomes a guidepost rather than a barrier. Facing uncertainty is another critical area of growth. Life is unpredictable, and comfort often masquerades as stability. High-value men seek situations where outcomes are unclear, forcing adaptability and problem-solving. Making decisions with incomplete information, tackling new responsibilities, or entering unfamiliar environments creates pressure that strengthens judgment. Comfort zones are predictable, growth zones are uncertain. Each encounter with uncertainty expands capability and increases confidence in navigating complexity. High-value men also recognize that discomfort teaches patience and delayed gratification. Progress is rarely instant. Pursuing goals that challenge skills, stamina, or emotional endurance requires persistence. The discomfort of effort, waiting, and learning to persist without immediate reward strengthens discipline. Success achieved through enduring discomfort is deeply internalized and self-reinforcing. Each step taken through difficulty builds self-respect, determination, and the natural ability to tackle even greater challenges in the future. High-value men embrace accountability as a form of discomfort. Accepting responsibility for mistakes, failures, and results challenges the ego and provokes growth. Avoidance is easy, but accountability fosters strength, clarity, and self-trust. Each time responsibility is taken willingly, the mind learns to operate under pressure without fear. The connection between discomfort and mastery becomes clear. Confronting responsibility, even when intimidating, produces results and reinforces confidence. High-value men also seek discomfort in social and professional growth. Networking, negotiation, mentorship, and leadership often involve uncertainty and exposure. Engaging in these situations strengthens communication, influence, and presence. Avoiding these interactions may feel safer, but it limits opportunity, connections, and advancement. Purposeful engagement in challenging social or professional environments trains composure, skill, and resilience. Discomfort becomes a tool for opportunity, influence, and tangible progress. Discomfort also trains adaptability. High-value men expose themselves to unfamiliar tasks, environments, and routines. Flexibility under pressure is cultivated through repeated encounters with situations that are uncomfortable but manageable. Every adaptation strengthens confidence in handling unpredictability, reducing fear, and making strategic decisions. Adaptability is a natural byproduct of embracing challenges that stretch the mind, body, and spirit beyond previous limits. High-value men use reflection to maximize the benefits of discomfort. After every challenging experience, they evaluate lessons learned, strengths gained, and weaknesses revealed. This reflection consolidates growth and prepares the mind for future challenge. Discomfort without reflection is wasted effort. By analyzing each experience, a man internalizes learning, strengthens resilience, and expands natural limits. Reflection ensures that every encounter with discomfort translates into measurable improvement and long-term capability. High-value men also balance discomfort with recovery. Growth requires strain, but the body and mind need restoration. Sleep, nutrition, relaxation, and reflection allow energy to recharge. This balance ensures that discomfort produces growth rather than burnout. Strategic cycles of challenge and recovery create sustainable progress. Discomfort is most effective when applied consistently, deliberately, and with attention to restoration and renewal. Seeking discomfort strengthens confidence in decision-making. A man who regularly faces challenging, unfamiliar, or intimidating situations builds trust in his own judgment and instincts. Each experience reduces hesitation and fear, allowing for more decisive and effective action in all areas of life. Comfort fosters doubt and dependency. Deliberate challenge strengthens self-reliance and courage. Confidence grows naturally when the mind and body are conditioned to handle difficulty consistently. High-value men also develop mental toughness through discomfort. Stressful tasks, demanding projects, and high-pressure environments test limits intentionally. Enduring these experiences strengthens patience, focus, and problem-solving under pressure. The mind becomes resilient because it has repeatedly succeeded in situations that initially felt impossible or overwhelming. Mental toughness is cultivated when a man willingly places himself in challenging scenarios and learns to navigate them with composure and strategy. Discomfort also teaches humility and perspective. High-value men recognize that growth involves learning from failure, struggle, and mistakes. Pride is tempered by repeated exposure to situations where mastery is incomplete. Each challenge reinforces the value of effort, learning, and adaptation. Humility gained through discomfort ensures that confidence remains grounded in skill and action, rather than ego or appearance. Perspective is enhanced by understanding that every challenge has value in shaping capability. High-value men view discomfort as an opportunity for creativity and problem-solving. Situations outside comfort zones require innovation, adaptability, and strategic thinking. Routine solutions are insufficient. By placing oneself in challenging scenarios, a man stimulates mental agility and resourcefulness. Growth occurs naturally when the mind is forced to operate in unfamiliar territory, producing skills and insights that would never emerge in comfort. Creativity thrives when necessity and challenge demand it. High-value men embrace discomfort as a continuous practice. One-time challenges produce temporary growth, but regular, deliberate exposure compounds skills, resilience, and confidence. Life presents challenges continuously, and habitually seeking discomfort prepares the mind, body, and spirit for any situation. Consistency in this practice ensures that limits expand naturally, obstacles become manageable, and fear diminishes over time. The habit of embracing challenge becomes a defining trait of capability and influence. Finally, high-value men understand that discomfort is the gateway to potential. Every growth in skill, resilience, confidence, or opportunity arises from stepping beyond what is comfort. Avoiding discomfort maintains the status quo, while embracing it expands what is possible. Each deliberate act of challenge strengthens the mind, conditions the body, and prepares the spirit for greater achievement. A man who consistently seeks discomfort expands limits naturally, builds influence, and becomes capable of handling challenges that would overwhelm others.
Chapter 10. Make decisions quickly and commit fully to your actions. High-value men understand that indecision is one of the greatest thieves of progress. Life does not wait for perfect conditions or unlimited information. Opportunities appear, challenges arise, and circumstances change constantly. The ability to make decisions quickly and commit fully to action separates men who achieve from men who merely observe. Quick decision-making is not impulsive, it is intentional, strategic, and informed by priorities, values, and experience. Commitment amplifies the effectiveness of those decisions because action without follow-through produces no results. Together, decisiveness and commitment form the foundation of influence, confidence, and achievement. The first step is clarity. High-value men know what they want and why they want it. When purpose is defined, decisions become simpler,
Uncertainty dissolves because the mind has a reference point, the ultimate goal. Clarity reduces hesitation and fear, allowing a man to act with confidence. Every decision aligns with long-term priorities rather than temporary comfort. A man who knows his values and objectives can decide quickly because he has already established the criteria for choice. Information gathering is important, but must be bounded. High-value men understand that waiting for complete knowledge is often a trap. Overthinking and analysis delay action and create opportunity cost. Instead, they gather sufficient information to make an informed choice, then decide. Waiting for perfect certainty is procrastination, disguised as prudence. Effective decision-making balances insight with action, acknowledging that no plan is flawless, but timely commitment creates momentum. Confidence in decision-making grows through practice. High-value men actively make choices, both large and small, and observe the results. Each decision, whether it produces the desired outcome or reveals a mistake, teaches clarity, judgment, and discernment. Experience builds intuition. The more decisions a man makes deliberately, the easier and faster subsequent decisions become. Confidence is reinforced because the mind learns that action, not hesitation, produces progress. High-value men also understand the cost of indecision. Opportunities are fleeting, and hesitation allows others to act. Waiting for perfect conditions often results in missed chances. Every delay carries hidden consequences: lost time, diminished credibility, and reduced influence. Recognizing these costs motivates a man to act decisively. Hesitation undermines progress. Swift, intentional decision-making propels it. Each choice executed promptly reinforces confidence, competence, and authority. Commitment transforms decision into action. High-value men do not waver or hedge after deciding. Full commitment maximizes results because effort is applied consistently, resources are allocated effectively, and focus is maintained. Partial commitment dilutes outcomes. Momentum is lost, and the mind doubts capability. Acting with full intention ensures that every decision produces measurable impact. Commitment converts possibility into achievement, and achievement strengthens credibility, confidence, and resilience. High-value men accept responsibility for consequences. Every decision carries risk, but ownership of results strengthens character. Blaming others, circumstances, or outcomes undermines authority and erodes self-respect. Accepting consequences allows learning, adaptation, and improvement. Every decision, whether successful or not, becomes a building block for future judgment. Responsibility reinforces confidence and ensures that decisiveness is grounded in accountability rather than recklessness. Prioritization enhances decision-making speed. High-value men evaluate choices based on importance, impact, and alignment with long-term objectives. Not every decision deserves equal attention. By identifying what truly matters, trivial choices are handled efficiently, leaving mental energy for critical decisions. Prioritization prevents overwhelm and ensures that action is concentrated where it produces the greatest benefit. This focus amplifies results, reduces stress, and strengthens strategic thinking. High-value men also eliminate fear as a barrier to action. Fear of failure, criticism, or uncertainty often paralyzes the unprepared mind. By acknowledging fear but choosing to act anyway, a man develops courage, resilience, and self-trust. Each time a decision is made, despite fear, confidence grows. Fear diminishes when action becomes habitual. A man who acts decisively, even under uncertainty, signals competence, strength, and authority to himself and others. High-value men avoid overcomplicating choices. Clarity, values, and priorities simplify decision-making. Complexities are broken down into manageable elements, allowing a choice to emerge naturally. Complication breeds hesitation, confusion, and procrastination. Effective decision-making is direct and purposeful. By reducing unnecessary complexity, a man preserves mental energy, accelerates action, and maintains focus on what truly matters. Each decision becomes an opportunity to demonstrate skill and composure rather than to be stalled by doubt. High-value men embrace iteration. Not every decision produces a perfect result. Mistakes, unexpected outcomes, or unforeseen challenges are part of the process. Rapid, deliberate action allows for course correction, learning, and improvement. Waiting for perfect conditions or guaranteed success slows growth. Each decision is a stepping stone toward mastery, and the ability to adjust while remaining committed amplifies effectiveness. Iterative action produces experience, competence, and momentum. High-value men balance intuition and reason. Decisions are informed by facts, experience, and instinct. Over-reliance on either can limit effectiveness. Facts provide structure and logic, while intuition integrates experience, pattern recognition, and subconscious learning. High-value men listen to both sources, make a choice confidently, and commit fully. Balance ensures that decisions are grounded yet flexible, deliberate yet responsive. This combination produces both speed and accuracy in judgment. High-value men understand that indecision undermines influence. Leaders, mentors, and collaborators respect men who decide and act decisively. Hesitation signals uncertainty, weakness, and lack of clarity. Quick, confident choices inspire trust and attract opportunities. Influence grows when a man consistently demonstrates the ability to assess, decide, and act with full commitment. Authority is earned through visible competence and follow-through rather than words alone. High-value men prepare for decisions in advance, anticipating likely scenarios, defining priorities, and rehearsing potential actions reduce hesitation. Preparation increases confidence, shortens decision-making time, and strengthens commitment. While unpredictability remains, a prepared mind navigates uncertainty with clarity. Strategic foresight transforms potential chaos into manageable challenges, allowing decisive action even in pressure situations. Preparation converts knowledge into immediate, confident choice. High-value men also cultivate resilience through commitment. Once a decision is made, obstacles may appear, progress may stall, and challenges may arise. Commitment ensures that momentum is maintained, problems are solved creatively, and efforts are not abandoned prematurely. Each act of perseverance reinforces confidence, skill, and credibility. A man who commits fully transforms challenges into evidence of capability rather than reasons for retreat. High-value men delegate decisively, recognizing when to act personally and when to entrust responsibility to others preserves energy and accelerates outcome. Quick, informed delegation is a form of decision-making that demonstrates strategic thinking and leadership. By committing to choices while empowering capable others, a man magnifies results and expands influence. Indecision in delegation undermines efficiency, while decisive allocation of responsibility produces clarity, momentum, and measurable impact. High-value men maintain consistency between decisions and actions. Saying one thing and doing another erodes credibility and confidence. Alignment between choice and behavior reinforces personal authority and demonstrates reliability. Commitment ensures that words are matched with action, creating a track record of achievement. This consistency strengthens influence, builds trust, and solidifies reputation. A man who decides quickly and acts fully shows integrity and command over his life. High-value men also manage external pressure while deciding. Time constraints, expectations, and social influences can accelerate stress. Decisiveness requires focus, clarity, and self-trust. By controlling internal reaction while acting under pressure, a man produces results without hesitation or compromise. External pressure becomes a motivator rather than a deterrent, reinforcing competence, resilience, and authority. Each pressured decision, executed successfully, builds momentum and reinforces the habit of decisive action. High-value men embrace commitment as a mindset rather than a task. Decision and action are inseparable. Hesitation after choosing undermines progress. Consistent follow-through demonstrates responsibility, capability, and influence. Commitment transforms intention into reality. Every action taken with full focus and energy multiplies results. Commitment creates momentum, builds confidence, and turns choices into measurable outcomes that shape life intentionally. High-value men evaluate results without hesitation. Decisions produce outcomes that require reflection, learning, and adjustment. Analysis is focused, deliberate, and forward-looking, avoiding rumination or regret. Feedback strengthens future decision-making, improves judgment, and reinforces confidence. Reflection ensures that rapid, committed choices continue to evolve in effectiveness. The cycle of decide, act, reflect, and adapt creates continuous growth, competence, and momentum. High-value men understand that indecision and partial commitment are invisible thieves of potential. Opportunities missed, energy wasted, and influence diminished occur quietly yet profoundly. Rapid, intentional decision-making and full commitment amplify capability, results, and credibility. The practice transforms life from reactive to proactive, from hesitant to decisive, from uncertain to empowered. High-value men act deliberately, ensuring that every choice produces impact, momentum, and measurable progress. Finally, high-value men recognize that life rewards the decisive. Waiting, hesitation, and doubt allow others to seize opportunity. Each rapid, committed choice expands capability, influence, and confidence. Decisions made with clarity, courage, and commitment become defining moments, shaping character, reputation, and result. A man who consistently decides quickly and acts fully is unstoppable, respected, and positioned for success that flows naturally from deliberate, confident, and empowered action.